Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Rita Marsh, one of the co-founders of the Center for Human Flourishing in Carbondale, Colorado, in the Roaring Fork Valley, Western Colorado. And I'm here today with Donna Lee Humble, who's one of our local practitioners. And we're going to have a conversation about her practice, her life, how she came to her being of serving people. First, I'd like to say that our organization, the Center for Human Flourishing, provides programs in integral health, mind, body, spirit wellness. And so we've decided to start a series of conversations with local practitioners. And Donna Lee has agreed to be with me today so we can let everyone know in our area and beyond what she is providing to her clients and what she has to offer that can go beyond our local region too, because of the incredible technology that we have and that we're moving into because of the COVID-19 situation. So Donna, I welcome you. And Donna, just very briefly, is the founder and the owner of Bioenergetic Better Health in Glen Springs, Colorado. In our conversation today, we will be exploring her life path that led her to creating her business and perhaps the current challenges she's facing in these days of COVID-19 regulations. But most of all, I'm interested in her passion for serving, and we'll find out more. So Donna, I welcome you. Thanks for agreeing to doing this.
My pleasure, Rita. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Well, let's start at the beginning. Where did you land on the planet? Where were you born? And how do you think has that place on the planet has influenced your life?
Well, actually, I was born on the East Coast in Massachusetts, but raised in Northern California. My father was in the military for a short time. Met my mother in Massachusetts, and we moved to, when I was 2 years old, to Northern California. And that's actually where I was raised until we moved to Colorado when I was going into high school. So I was in California, Massachusetts, and Colorado.
Okay. Do you remember growing up in California, your connection with nature, your connection with the ocean, the natural world? Was there anything there that has influenced you, continues to influence you?
The the I should take a step back here. I grew up in a rather dysfunctional family, and so survival was sort of at the forefront of my mind as a child. And so I probably was going through some hard knocks as a child and didn't get to explore holistic health and such back then.
Mhm. Right. And then you came to the Glen Springs Eagle area, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
graduated of Eagle High School.
that's right.
And after that, what was your um, desire to move out into the world? What influenced you to uh, create a career path?
Well, I didn't start with holistic health. I started with whatever I could do. I was a young mother and raising two kids. 10 years into the marriage, I went through a divorce, which were more hard knocks. I had plenty of hard knocks. And I think a lot of us in the field of helping others heal have been the wounded healer themselves. And so I did whatever I could. I ended up in the dental field and bookkeeping and whatever I could do to support my two children at the time. It was due to my own kind of fragility health wise that I sought natural methods. I found that pharmaceuticals did not work for me, they only made me sicker. And so I learned to tolerate pain because and discomfort because of my many different ailments. And finally, I found some really good holistic health measures and practitioners that helped me heal at a core level. And I'm still healing, aren't we all, right?
Yes, I think being born on this planet is a journey of healing.
Yes.
Yes, and we accepted it, and so here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Who were some of your significant teachers and practitioners that you worked with that supported you in this healing path?
The first really big transformation in my life was after a divorce. I got very sick. I moved away to Greeley for about a year, kind of to recover. And I found a practitioner there who did something called bioenergetic testing, which is a computerized device that detects toxicity at a cellular level. And then you can create from that information a remedy that is customized exactly for you that will clear the toxins. And we have many layers of toxins, but it clears that top layer so that your body can do what it knows to do best, heal itself. And so it worked for me. After a year of seeing my practitioner, I began thinking about going to school to become a technician. And I did so. That was the first tier of my holistic health offering. And then this is sort of a long story, Rita. Are you okay with this?
No, this is
Cut
what
me
we're
off.
about. This is learning about who you are
Okay.
and how did you get to this place in your life. Yes.
Okay. At the point, I was also a very empathic and intuitive and emotional being on this earth. And I found that my emotions were part of the problem of my physiology, that my overwhelming inability to process overwhelming emotion actually would contribute to physiological illness. And so I had to dive into that. And I did many things. I finally landed with something and went to school to become a Sedona method coach, which is really different because you actually dive into the emotion and you come out to the other side of the perfect peace that you are. And I studied that and went to school for several years and began offering it in conjunction with the bioenergetic testing. However, it seemed like a band-aid approach because the bioenergetic testing took care of the physiology, the emotions took care of the emotional being, but there were some pieces missing and I knew it. And I was my own best teacher and learned that my thoughts, which actually stimulated my emotions, created, were part of the problem. Is the negative thinking, the mind chatter that we're inundated with on a daily basis. And so I studied more about thoughts, and I really didn't want to go into the thoughts. I was good with the emotions and the bioenergetic testing, but it was a crucial foundational part. The cyclical thinking that goes on in our head contributes to the emotions, which contribute to, I want to say, overwhelming emotion, because emotion in and of itself isn't bad. It's just inability to process it contributes to disease in the body physiologically.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's so perfectly. I understand that. I'm a student of psychoneuroimmunology, so I, I, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I'm hoping our conversation will be introducing more people to this fact that thoughts create a deluge of biochemistry in our body, which affects our cells, which affects our physiology. And
You're
so,
speaking my language, Rita.
yes.
And so I dived into particularly Byron Katie's work, where we actually dissect one thought at a time.
Mhm.
I found by really giving myself to that process that the 50 to 60,000 thoughts that we can think in a day would fall away like dominoes once I got started with that process. And I started sharing that with my clients with permission from the author, Byron Katie. She actually gave me templates and really encouraged me to share this. Um, that still wasn't the whole picture. That was a big piece of it, but it wasn't the whole picture. I felt like I had a lot to give, and I was giving so much of myself that I was dipping back into those health issues that I had had before. And so the overgiving, overdoing, overthinking was causing me to get unwell again. And so I had to pop back up into what can help me. And I found two things through the International Association of Wellness Professionals that really helped me. I enrolled in their coaching program, and they introduced me to something called core coaching, which is a magnificent process based on neuro-linguistic programming that
Yes,
taps in to your innate wisdom. It's a series of questions. And so that really empowered my practice, because no longer was I feeling responsible for helping others. Rather, I was responsible for helping them access their own inner knowing.
what a beautiful shift.
Oh,
Yes.
it
And
relieved me, it relaxed me. That I didn't have that heavy burden anymore.
mhm. You were learning healthy boundaries.
Yes. Yeah. And I
Yes.
think that's the path of a person in this field of wanting to help others achieve health holistically, naturally. I think we go through that process. And it may not be for everybody, but I know many, I've interviewed a lot of practitioners too, that it's our own healing that brings steps to help others heal themselves.
Yes. Um, that's, I know that very personally because I think this organization that I'm a co-founder of, it's been like I've been throwing parties of learning for myself through different teachers, different modalities, different experiences, and it certainly helped my personal growth in all aspects, mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
So I know that you're a student and a teacher also of the Course of Miracles. Can you tell me how that came in?
Oh, well, that's an integral part of everything I do. I've been studying A Course in Miracles since 1989. I began facilitating groups in 2002, which I still do. And the principles in A Course in Miracles, and if anybody out there is not real familiar with it, it's a radical spiritual philosophy, not religion, but philosophy based on love rather than fear. And have you ever came upon something that you just knew was the direction for you?
Oh, yes.
That's how what the course was for me. And I, to this day, I go to that book probably at least weekly and learn something new. I It is the basis for, I created a program called the Higher Self-Care Series. And that incorporates the physiology, the emotions, the negative thinking, um, and tapping into your own inner knowing. The whole program is based on the philosophy that I gleaned from A Course in Miracles.
So
There's
that was foundational to the course you put together.
absolutely, it's not A
Yeah,
Course in Miracles, but A Course in Miracles inspired it.
exactly. It
Yeah,
was a foundation for
yeah.
what you took and developed.
Hmm.
Well, were you practicing in Glenwood at this time or?
Practicing my business, or
Yes. Uh-huh.
yes, actually all over the United States and internationally at times. But we can enroll people into the 6-month program, higher self-care program anywhere in the United States.
So it's online, available to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes.
I still prefer working with people one-on-one in, face to face. I probably always will, but it works, it transfers just as well.
And the one-on-one work with the COVID regulations, has that been a barrier for your practice, or is it still you're able to function under those parameters?
Great question. Interestingly, my business came to a kind of a dead standstill for a couple of months one in March, I think, of this year, when everything kind of came to a head. And then I changed my outlook. A mentor I was working with helped me shift my perception. People need holistic health now more than ever. And I had this mindset of no, people are done. They're not going to invest in growth. And when I shifted that mindset, my business took off better than it ever has. So it's actually been an opportunity for me with the bioenergetic testing. The doctors I work with in Florida have created a pandemic protocol that literally imprints the COVID strains, the frequency of those strains, into a homeopathic that you take. And when you take that, your body mans up antibodies to that virus, that specific virus. And then if for some reason you were exposed or you did contract it, you would already have built-in defense against it. And that has actually been an opportunity for me to reach people all over the nation.
That's wonderful. And I totally understand that modality that you're talking about, and the function of homeopathic remedies that can help the body do exactly that, set up their own antibodies to be protective. So I'm so glad we're having this conversation, that more people through this interview may get to know what you have to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to stand on top of a mountain and shout to the world, hey, we can do something actively here to protect ourselves.
Yes. And one of the big pieces I think that's come in with this COVID situation is fear. And so how are you helping people move through that significant emotion of fear to get to a place of quiet and peace inside?
That's another great question. You're just full of them, aren't you, Rita? The fear is another opportunity, because when it comes to emotion, whether it's anger, apathy, fear, grief, I love to dive in. I know that sounds strange, but it's one of my favorite things to do is dive into emotion. And so the fear has sharpened my skills that people are feeling and coming in with, and we're cutting through the BS quicker to get to the peace that's beneath the fear that they're feeling. And so that's been yet another opportunity to kind of shine my light and help other people shine through their fear to the perfect peace that they really are in truth.
That's wonderful. And that's so necessary given what people are feeling challenged with.
Mm-hmm.
Your office is in Glenwood Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you do work online too, and through
Absolutely.
the phone and through Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Mostly I like phone work.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, my intuition works better when I'm not distracted by a screen, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Yes. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. So phone or in person, or of course, people can tap into your courses online too.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end here, we'll make sure people know how to connect with you and and reach out to you. Do you have anything cooking right now that you're looking to offer in the future? Do you have a new little package coming up?
I have one program that I prefer with my clients. It's customized for each client. I work particularly with exhausted superwomen who suffer from ailments, physical ailments, from overdoing, overgiving, and overthinking, to finally put an end to that so that they can come back to the empowered, creative, vibrant beings they were meant to be. And this 6-month program is customized for each person that signs up. And we can do it long distance or in person. And it includes bioenergetic testing, which is really the foundation of everything. Because if you don't know what's going on physiologically and clearing that, it's hard. It's like you're missing the boat. So we want to start with that foundation of the physical. And we cater it to whatever you're needing most now, if it's emotional overwhelm in your life, or the negative thinking, or the physiological issues. And really, they all come together to create a place of coming back to your inner knowing, to empower you to live without any influence from me. Because each time we meet, we tap into your inner knowing, and pretty soon you can start doing it on your own. Of course, meditation is a big part of what I teach and explore with others. It's exciting for me to help people shift their lives. Now, I said I work mostly with women, but I have men that are ready. And I think I'm looking for the person who's ready. They've been there, done that. They've overcome a lot in their life, but they're stuck in one area and they want to move through. And that's where we shine.
Mhm. So a person who realizes that there's a pattern that's been repeating in their life and they don't want to go through that door anymore, they're ready to make a different cycle,
Yes,
open,
absolutely.
open up to something new.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the words that you've just expressed made me think of the frontline healthcare workers and the challenges they've been facing. There is a huge population of folks out there, and being from a nursing background, I know, majority of them are women, and so it seems what you have to offer that there's just a plethora of folks who would be coming your way. And have you thought of being a teacher of teachers, or is that something that you're already doing?
Definitely. I love that you asked that. A lot of my clients are practitioners. I would say maybe 30-40% are practitioners, and they learn how that I work and incorporate it into their own practices, which is phenomenal. They're also, I love speaking, and I do workshops. I've got some coming up in Grand Junction and CMC here in Glenwood Springs coming up in February. Hopefully we'll be able to get together live. That would be so cool in person.
Yes.
I think I feel like a lot of healing occurs when we're, with each other. And I have definitely considered teaching larger audiences, teaching more practitioners, and I just haven't found the platform yet.
Uh-huh.
But that's something I would like to get into more.
Well, good. Let's put it out into the universe and see what's going to show up.
Thanks. We'll
thanks
do
for
that.
thanks for
Yeah.
expressing that.
And my goal is to be where I am most needed. So I love that you said that. Let's put it out to the universe. You never know.
You never know, right? Do you have any gems you'd like to offer to folks who are listening into this recording at a later date?
Are you, when by gems, do you
Is
mean?
there one little tool in your kit that
Oh,
is a quick,
actually, I have a free, actually, right now it's a free offering on the website, biosynergybetterhealth.com. 6 steps to easy emotional release guide. It's just a 5-page workbook, and it teaches you how to dive into your own emotion and come out the other side to the peace that you are. And that's absolutely free. You can click on the free guide on the website and download that. And if you have questions, you're welcome to let me know and either communicate through email, or you can even get a free session with me. I love doing free sessions. So
well, that's wonderful to know. And so through the website, bio,
Biosynergy
synergy,
Better Health.
better health,
Yeah.
biosynergybetterhealth.com. And you also have a Facebook page
I do. Biosynergy Better Health.
through Facebook,
Yeah.
and that offer, a channel to that offer is posted there also.
Yes, it should be.
Okay, we'll check.
Okay.
We'll find out. Okay. I know that you're very tuned in to energies. You have a capacity for intuition and just feeling into the energies of people, but also the energies of the environment, the energies of our planet. Do you have anything that's come to your knowing about the times we're going through?
It's so simple. It's like the whirling dervish, Rita. That we have chaos in our world often, correct? It's always, if it's not there now, it'll be there soon, right? And sometimes there's big collective chaos, right? Like what we're going through right now. The bottom line for me is so simple, is to simply come into the present moment, come into the now, and do that on a daily basis, whether it's through meditation or walking in nature, to come into and strengthen that, because that is the core of who you are, no matter what's going on or what appears to be going on in the world. The center is always right here, and it's as available as consciously feeling your breath, noticing your body sitting on the chair and the sit points, hearing my voice, smelling the aromas. It's just so simple. And I think the egoic nature likes to complicate it. No matter what's going on in the world, it's simple. Come back into this moment.
And connect with that inner self,
Mm-hmm.
that place of inner wisdom and knowing.
Yeah.
So, what's love got to do about it?
Whoa. Love. I've experienced through working with many clients now over 19 years. We just had our Biosynergy just had its 19th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That I'm not sure how that happened, but I found that every one of us, every person, whether it's a colleague or a client, family member or a friend, we're all looking to find the love for ourselves. And we battle our thoughts, our emotions, the imbalances of navigating the physical world constantly. And love has everything to do with it. It has everything to do with it. And extending love to you, which I did before we started, Rita, And me is miraculous. And when we're coming into the now, I think we're tapping into that love that's always there, no matter the chaos that we seem to be surrounded with.
Mhm.
It's really the answer. One of us should start singing, right?
Yes. What's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Got to do with it. Uh, I'm a student of Dr. David Hawkins and his work in consciousness. And we know from his scale of consciousness that love has a very, very high vibration.
Mhm.
And so and fear has a very, very low vibration. So the more we can tap into those things that we love, the more we can feed that love that's already within ourselves, and we can let that begin to free up and come forth. So as you said, love has everything to do with it for being a healthy, flourishing person on the planet at this time.
And the beauty of having the fears pop up in our life is they are the segue. When we dive into it, when we quit trying to run away from it and dive into the fears, they're the segue back to the love. By diving in, it dissipates because the fear isn't real, only the love is. And it is only by diving into it and coming out the other side that you discover that authentic peace and love that is you, no matter
Right.
what is going on.
And it's all energy.
Mhm.
There's a certain population I've been concerned about as we go through this challenging time of COVID, and that's young folks, the preteens and the teenagers who are feeling very disrupted and out of sorts and may not have tools that they can call on or know that there are things that they can call on. Have you reached out to that population at all?
The younger population, sometimes they've got to hit the wall for a little while. I know I did when I was that age, and I had to experience those hard knocks and the fears and the frustrations that come with being young and finding their own way and being an example, you and I and the other practitioners out there and wellness people, being example to center ourselves and have the courage to dive into what's surfacing, whether it's negative thinking or emotional overwhelm, and being an example to them. And I think that, I don't think we can give it to them. I think we can show it to them by example. And if I'm worried about, I have grandchildren, teenagers and younger
Yes.
ones, and if I'm worried about them, my job is to take care and dive into my worry. When I do that, they can sense, there's a shift, an energetic shift, and they sense that stability within me that's within them. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
No, that's fine. And perhaps just your presence, offering them an environment of safety and presence
Mhm.
um, and love will carry their energy into that space too, without even knowing it.
Exactly.
And
On
someday
some
that,
level, they do know it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
someday they might ask you, how come you're so calm? How come these things aren't bothering you? What do you do? They might ask you that. I'm sitting here in my office, and I remember 3 years ago when my grandson came to visit. We came and he saw one of the little candles here, and he said, "Oh, yeah, can we sit down and meditate?" And I said, "Oh, yes, we can do that."
Oh,
And, and he went to Montessori school, and they had learned quiet time, and he had put together the quiet time and meditation word. And so we lit the candle and sat here for maybe about 5 minutes, just in incredible peace. And I thought, wow, these little ones are coming in, and they seem to be more open, and there are schools and there are places who are nurturing this for children.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
What a gift.
That was a precious moment.
That gift will stay with him for the rest of his life, I'm sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with folks as we move through this conversation?
I'd like to share a quote from A Course in Miracles that really inspired. I'm writing a book right now. I can't believe that's happening. I never thought I would be an author, and I'm not yet. We're just writing the book. But the quote is, your task, and it's also a Rumi quote, which I find interesting, or a very similar Rumi quote. Your task is not to seek for love, but rather seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against them, and that you've built against love. Find all the barriers. And that's exactly what the Higher Self-Care series is all about, is finding those barriers, because the love is already there within you.
Finding the barriers and opening the doors.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Would you say that quote again? Would you just bring that into this space?
Mm-hmm. Your task is not to seek for love. Rather, your task is to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it.
Mm-hmm. And if you're seeking those barriers, Donna Lee Humble is a person who can help you with that. And would you say again your contact information?
My name is Donna Lee Humble. I'm the owner of Biosynergy Better Health. You can reach me at biosynergybetterhealth.com, and also download a free guide to release your own emotions at that site.
And personal in-person opportunities can be sought out and appointed at your office in Glenwood Springs.
That's right. If you go to the contact page, there's a free session that you can click on. It's a 30-minute session we can do by phone, or if you're courageous enough, come on in. It's a safe environment, and we'll do a 30-minute session to kind of identify your biggest obstacles and maybe give you clarity and direction in that.
Mm-hmm. And for people who are really seeking for the next turn up the spiral, there's a 6-month program that you have to offer. Mm-hmm. And they can find out information on your website and call you if they have questions.
Absolutely. Would you like my number here?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
970-274-1680. That's 970-274-1680. I'll look forward to your call.
Good for you. Donna, thanks so much. This has been a real pleasure to get to know you better and to be in your presence. And thanks for saying yes to this interview. And we'll make sure that lots of folks get to experience it too. So thanks for tuning in to this recording, and if you're ready, and if you have just that burning question or that burning issue, contact Donna and start exploring for better health and for your flourishing. Thanks, everyone.